Hello everyone, welcome back. This will be our 10th episode in the chat app. Last time we stopped after we created and connected our first SQL database, and in this episode we are going to continue from where we stopped in the last episode. So without further ado, let's continue. Today we are going to create our first database table called users, and it's going to have 14 columns. The first column, I'm going to call it user ID, type integer, and the username, first name. I'm sorry. The first one, second column is going to be user unique ID. Auto increment, which is going to be our primary key, and I think that's all. So now I have created my first table, which is users table, and the second table is going to be privacy table. We are going to have 5 columns: privacy, brief ID, user ID, and brief date birth, email address, and mobile number. This one is going to be int, this one as well, 11, and this one. Although we can use binary here, but I think I will prefer to use integer instead, since it's just a number 0 and 1. Here cannot be null, so I'm going to say privacy 1. So our default value here is going to be 1, which means the privacy based on date of birth, email address, or mobile number is going to be displayed on user's profile, unless if the user decided not to display it public, so he can do whatever he wants to do with his data. Okay, and I'm just going to do 1. So here is our 2 tables, privacy and users. So now the next thing to do is to get back to our application and start making query to display our user's data in his or her profile. Okay, I'm going to get back to this heading, delete this, and I'm going to grab this entirely and create new file under this directory, and I will call it, paste my code, then save it with the name dbconnection.php, and come back up here, create one unique file under my inks directory, and I will call it authenticator.php. Call it maybe config.php. I think it will be better. Alright, then open my tag php, require dbcon/db connection.php. So I'm going to be using this instead and be calling all my entire PHP configuration from that particular file. So I'm going to import config.php, So to test that, I'm going to say this. Let me try this die and see if it's really working. You see it working. So we are really going in good shape. Okay, so I'm going to jump directly to my profile, which is here. So profile PHP, and this is our profile display. So what we are going to do now is to start printing out but before then I'm going to insert the user's data directly from PHP admin, my admin, sorry. So the first value is going to be 1 here, and the unique ID can be any random 10 characters. So say 4 here, GB DS 5 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. One has to go. Okay. Sorry, it cannot be integer. Oh my goodness, I have to edit it. This one has to be virtual, not integer. Now we are good to go. So we can insert our data directly from here, or we can use SQL query to insert our data. Here I'm going to put 10 random characters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we are good to go. And username here, okay, iFarouq. Gender, date of birth, just black and state. Mobile number +234. And the profile image, it can be null, but since we haven't assigned that, you can just say profile .png and so now we are good to go. You see, we can use this query instead of doing that to insert our data into our database table. We can either choose to use this one or to do that automatically, and it's the most simplest way to do it. But keep in mind that we are going to be using this kind of query everywhere in our code, so you have to be prepared for that. So now we are going to jump to our profile.php. It's right here. Since we haven't make our session query yet, I'm going to hard code this to just iFarouq, and what we are going to do here is make our first query. We are going to fetch our data, users data from database. Let's say user USR data. Here is another method of making query to fetch data in a single line. But there are some places we cannot apply this kind of method, because even if you do, it's not going to work as we want it to. So bear in mind, we are only using it when necessary, but it's also useful to know it and to know how to use it and where to apply it, because it's really good and make your work a lot more easier. MySQL I fetch array. I made a mistake here. Then $sign connection query, open bracket, select all data from user's table where user unique ID equals to, we don't know that yet, but I'm going to copy it, and the user's email address. Although we can just use this user unique ID, it will work, and user unique ID alone is satisfied. But if you like, you can add another values or parameters. If you don't, you can leave it that way. But I will choose to use both. I have reason for that, because we are going to use cookies and session in our application. So even this one, as I told you earlier, it will work, and I will show you both. But for now, we are going to stick with these two. So I'm coming back here and grab my unique ID and paste it here, and the email address iFarouq example.com. Right. That's it. And then we are going to make variables based on the every data of the user's data. So my first variable here is going to be my ID. I'm going to call this, paste it here. Then the array. The array is going to be this data in here, which is user ID. I'm going to copy it and paste it here, and it will work. So we are going to follow the same procedure and create the variables based on the data in our SQL database. So to save time, I'm going to speed up the video. Now I think we are good to go. But this one as well, we can grab it from here and paste it inside our config file, which is we can paste it down here like that one. So back to our data down here. Here we are to test it PHP. I forgot one column down here. User status. You have to be very careful when using upper and lower cases. Profile image. See, it's giving us a headache. And now we are going to go. Alright. So coming back to our this it has to be this one, which is right here, and it's going to be full name $sign last name. Okay, let's take a look. You see it has changed and it worked. Okay, but before then, here we need some space between the first and last name. It's here. In order to do that, I'm going to just do this, and here we go. Alright, then back to our main profile display. So, come back here, my profile, starting right from here. Username, first name is going to be my first name, last name, my last name, gender, date of birth, my birth date, nationality Nigeria, then my state, my city, contact info. Then here we are going to have my email address and my phone number, my number. Okay, so let's give it a shot. See, everything works just as needed, but I forgot to include this ID, which is right here. Okay, it's right here. Here we fetch all the users' data, but the system here is very vulnerable and it can be tricked. What I'm talking about here is, how about if we paste some code inside our database instead of just plain text? Let me show you what I'm talking about. For instance, here iFarouq, I will say header 1, and here let's say header 1 and paste it, leave it this way. Okay, and let's give it a shot and see how it's going to be displayed. It didn't work. What happened? Let's take a look. And oh, this one we had coded it. Okay, rather now let's take a look. And here we are. You see, it looks very bold, which we don't need that, and we are not intending to do that. So this is very malicious way. You see, this one font size has increased to header 1, and another example here is if I say script read, okay, and say alert, one bracket, see, and this, and close bracket, and close our tab. Let's save it and give it a shot. You see, if user land this kind of malicious into our database, it's going to be triggering our system again and again and again and again, and every user in this system is going to be seeing this pop in. So in order to avoid that, here is the first thing to do, which is we can print our data not directly, rather we can use this statement called HTML special chars. Here it is, and paste our variable between this function, and we are going to apply the same thing to everywhere I outputted my data. Let's give it a shot and see. I think it's not going to work right from where we initiated this. Rather, I'm going to use it directly from our main source, which is right here. Right here. Okay, and here. Let's give it a shot. You see, it worked. This is what is going to be displayed instead of that executional code. But you see here, it displays a raw code of JavaScript code for us, and this one is HTML snippet, which there is no way a user can plant such malicious code inside our database. So if we do that, whatever the user plants into our database is going to be displayed as stored in the database. It's not going to be triggering our system anymore. So be careful with what you are going to be displaying in your app. So if you do that, we solve that problem. But we did not solve one other problem, which is called SQL injection. SQL injection is very common malicious way to trigger your system, but I'm going to show you how it's working and how you can solve it when to avoid that from happening in your application. But I'm going to do that later, maybe in our next 1 or 2 episode or in the end of this series. Anyway, so let's stick to this and keep playing around. I'm going to change this to its normal form. Here we go. So I think we are stopping right here for now. In our next episode, I'm going to show you how this is working, how you can change this privacy from show to hide or allow your private data to be displayed public or not to allow. So that's it. I hope you find this episode helpful. If you do, kindly like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for the upcoming videos. Until next time, always make hope and never give up.